Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome to this video on the Scorpio full moon. This full moon is highlighting an area of your life that it's necessary to see in order to move forward. This could be a pattern that it's time to break, a shadow aspect of the self that it is time to integrate. So, as we've moved through Taurus season, the opposite sign of Scorpio, hence the full moon in Scorpio, we've had a lot of planets still making their way through Aries, the most significant being Saturn and Neptune. You want to track these transits. Whatever house Aries rules over in your chart is getting a major upgrade. Whatever area of your life is associated with this transit, you're likely going to feel stretched. Your vision for what is possible is going to be expanded. But on the other side, you can feel like you are in a completely different place, like unrecognizable. So all of that continues to be at play. And then the Scorpio full moon comes along and it's diving us more into our inner world, our emotions, the shadows. Scorpio is all about what happens beyond the surface, beyond the facade. And a full moon in this sign gives us deeper insight into our subconscious mind. It is associated with psychic abilities. So, not only being able to read others more clearly during a Scorpio full moon, but having greater insight into our subconscious mind. So, before we dive deeper into all things Scorpio full moon, I want to take a moment to invite you into something really special that I'm doing in May. It's a 7-day challenge called How Good Can It Get? And it brings together reprogramming work. So, really upgrading your subconscious mind so you feel safe receiving more. This can be more money, more visibility, more impact, whatever you're currently working toward. You want to have a mind that supports you and is not working against you to sabotage those outcomes. And then we couple that with work in the Akashic Records, where I guide you into the space and you learn how to access your highest timeline for different areas of your life. So we live in a world of infinite possibility and potential. But what manifests isn't by accident. There's certain things we can do to call forward our highest path for relationships, for health, for money, for different aspects of our business. So we're going to be diving into all of that in the challenge. So I'm going to attach the link below, or if you're listening on the podcast, it'll be in the show notes. Now, let's go back to this Scorpio full moon. I'm going to share my screen here so we can have a closer look and have the visual here. All right. 11 degrees of Scorpio is where this full moon is landing. Every full moon is always going to be opposite the sun, which is currently at 11 degrees of Taurus. So the Taurus Scorpio axis is a money axis of the zodiac. So definitely financial themes can be really big during this time. And Scorpio is more the deeper investing that we do financially. So, where Taurus is the work we do day to day that brings in money, can relate to things like budgeting, more of the practical day to day stuff when it comes to money. But Scorpio is all about the longer term investments or even shared resources. So, financial themes could be, probably will be in one way or another, really big right now. And since this is a full moon, it can be a good opportunity to look at what some of those shadow aspects are when it comes to money. So, belief systems you may have that prevent you from expanding into more. So, this could be having money just doesn't happen for people like me, or having more money flow in one month and then it sends your nervous system into overdrive. But anything that's coming up around money at this time is not to present an obstacle. It's actually calling you to grow and expand. So really ask, who am I called to become to be on the other side of this challenge, this obstacle, and allow more financial abundance to flow into my life. Now, it's not just about money when we talk about Taurus and Scorpio. It's also about what we value, what really moves us in life. And Taurus is definitely more about the senses, the practical values that we have that shape our life. And Scorpio is more about what is going on with the under the surface. Always keep that in mind with Scorpio. I see Scorpio as the detective of the zodiac because I always associate like detective energy with having really good observational skills coupled with psychic abilities or intuitive gifts, and those things come together. And it makes an amazing detective. So, with this Scorpio energy, it's definitely that ability to really see what's going on in a new light. So, this can really be honest reflection within ourselves of like what's been running the show? What's driving us? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it insecurity? Or is it pleasure? Is it joy? Is it expansion? Because we don't want to live our life in survival mode or making decisions out of fear. And Scorpio and Taurus, when we go beyond just the pop astrology or their surface understanding, it really is about creating a deeply meaningful life where we are feeling more whole in who we are. And that's a big part of Scorpio. When we do the shadow work, we feel more whole within ourselves because anytime we try to keep things hidden, and this could be past experiences that feel scary to look at, also in the shadow can be gifts and talents that we haven't fully actualized. I always, anytime I'm talking about Scorpio, I think of one of the first ever workshops I did many years ago, and this was still in my days where I was working as a psychotherapist, and I did a workshop all around making friends with your shadow self. And I shared this story of how I always really loved to draw as a kid. Like I would be the kid that was drawing and writing poetry. And I loved doing that. It brought me so much joy. And as I went through school, I started to have kids make fun of my drawings in art class, and I completely like shut that down and just decided it's not safe for me to draw, to create, or to share that with the world, so I better keep it hidden. So we have those kind of gifts that are hidden within the shadow as well. For one reason or another, we might have thought it wasn't safe to share. It doesn't mean it's a truth, it just means we had an experience that made us close off. So maybe that brings something to mind for you. Maybe as a kid, you loved to sing and dance all the time, but you were told you were being too much. So you started to dim that light more and more. This is about reclaiming those parts of ourself and feeling safe. Taurian energy has to do with safety and nervous system regulation. And anytime we want to expand into receiving more, it has to feel safe and normalized in our body. So, as we zoom out a little bit, we've got some really interesting aspects happening here. So, the ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, and there's a powerful square happening here between the moon and Pluto. So this is like soul level rebirth energy, deep transformation. It also speaks to the deeper shifts that are unfolding right now collectively. And I mean, we're seeing that, and it can look like chaos on the surface, but something beautiful is being built in its place alongside it. Like we can look around and for sure see reasons to be afraid, see many things we want to change. But we can also look around and see a lot of beautiful things happening as well. More people that are sharing their truths and their gifts in meaningful ways, like even in the online space, more content creators, more healers stepping forward. Like we are in the process of creating this new earth that we have been talking about for so long. And it is a consciousness that more and more people are embodying. And we're going to see that ripple out in very real ways, like huge, huge changes with money and the economy and how money is distributed. And we're really going to start to get a deeper preview and glimpse into that with this full moon energy. So this definitely has collective implications anytime an outer planet is involved, but this is also about your own internal transformation, the inner journey that you have been on to embrace those shadow aspects of the self so you feel more whole, more complete, more self-expressed in your truth. Or maybe you are in the phase of just feeling like the old identity, the who you once were, the old version of yourself is just feeling so misaligned, so uncertain. And that can feel like a very scary time. But when we are brave enough to do that inner work, to still create the change that we know is scary but necessary, it always pays off. So this aspect suggests that a lot of people may be feeling that in one way or another, like an old identity crumbling, an old version of themselves they no longer resonate with, but something new is being reborn. And this is where I would definitely check out, where does Aries rule in your chart? Saturn and Neptune here is so telling. Something new is being born. There's an area of your life where a whole new chapter is unfolding. Now, we also have Mars in Aries at the time of this full moon, and it's the co-ruler of Scorpio as well. So, extra significance there. This can feel like an emotionally intense full moon, also very fiery and passionate. Like, be aware of what themes are surfacing for you around this full moon. It's not by accident. Again, going back to my initial message, there's something around this full moon that it's time to notice, a pattern, shadow part of yourself that needs to be reclaimed in order to really move forward. We have Mercury and Chiron conjunct here in Aries. This can be deep healing around the thoughts we entertain, our belief system. So, beliefs are basically thoughts that we continually think. There are many thoughts that we have day in, day out. Many are actually repeat. We tend to think the same thing yesterday that we did today, and so on, unless we consciously become aware and we start to program in new thoughts. So, Chiron here, there's something about a healing that's happening on the level of our belief system. What you believe is possible for you. Aries is all about this trailblazer energy of go for it. Lean in before you feel ready. If you're waiting to feel ready, you'll be waiting your whole life. And we have to just lean in. It's like this warrior-esque spirit. So the other thing I feel called to share here around thoughts is knowing that just because something pops into your mind doesn't mean you have to entertain it. That's where it becomes a belief. Sometimes we can just let it go. Don't give it energy. Neutralize it. And then actively, of course, give energy to the thoughts that you want to strengthen, the thoughts that feel life-giving in your body, that feel nourishing, that align with your vision and where you are going. So that's a huge theme. Just gonna have a sip of my tea here. When Uranus went into Gemini, my throat chakra underwent an upgrade. You may still hear it in my voice. It's starting to come back online, but that timing, I'm sure, was not an accident, very synchronistic. The shift of Uranus and Gemini is another hotspot in your chart that you definitely want to look at the house placement, especially in the early degree that Gemini rules over, because with Uranus there, it is that awakener energy. It's an area where there can be unexpected surprises that are happening in your life. Collectively, for all of us, our nervous systems are getting an upgrade, thoughts are speeding up. Like your mind at times could feel like it's racing with all of these ideas. So we want to look to this Taurian sun here, especially at this full moon, to remind us to ground. Go barefoot in nature. I think I share that almost every video, but earthing, what grounds you? Maybe it's even doing breath work, but what relaxes your nervous system? And also, especially with Venus in Gemini now as well, there's an excitement to this energy. So there could be lots of ideas flowing in that feel really electric, really exciting, but maybe a little bit scattered as well, which could be the shadow side of this energy in Gemini, like all these ideas, but they don't become actualized if they're not grounded, right? You got to take those ideas, really look at, okay, what are the practical steps required to now bring this idea to life? The other aspect I want to mention with this Scorpio full moon is a beautiful trine. We have a water trine with Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. We have, where are we now? May, we've got just a couple more months, and then Jupiter is wrapping up in Cancer and it's going to move into Leo. Even being a Cancer myself, I'm actually really looking forward to this transit of Jupiter in Leo. It's just going to be another point in the year where we do feel energy kind of speeding up even more. But remember, I feel called to share this just because things are speeding up and moving quickly, that doesn't mean that we have to feel chaos. We can still feel this sense of I'm moving with the energy. I'm moving with the flow of life. I'm not resisting it. If we're resisting certain things in our life, like we're resisting the speed of things or we're holding back and making a decision, we are really, really going to notice it in this energy, not just this full moon, but this year, even into 2027. We're really being asked to keep up, but not from pressure, not from chaos, with the flow of life, going with the flow of life. And that's also what this North Node in Pisces has been initiating us into. And that's also getting ready to shift signs soon into Aquarius, which is going to be another big change that's happening around the midpoint of this year. So we'll touch on that, explore that more as it gets closer. But this North Node in Pisces, one of the biggest lessons it's been teaching us is surrender. The art of surrender and the art of honoring the season that we are in life, going with the flow of life. This has been a big lesson the past year and a half for many of us. Okay, I know I'm jumping around a little bit here, but just to go back with this trine of Jupiter with this full moon in Scorpio, intuition at an all-time high. When we have a water trine, yes, it is emotional. So a lot of emotions coming up. If you're somebody who is used to that, like you just have a lot of water energy in your chart, so you tend to be more emotional, or you've worked to just be in touch with your emotions, you won't notice it as much. If you're somebody who kind of resists that or is afraid of your emotions or tries to intellectualize them, this full moon could feel like a lot, but it's also an opportunity to say, I don't need to run from how I'm feeling. I don't need to be afraid of it. I get to explore my emotions. They do not define me. They are simply energy in motion. A big lesson of Jupiter in Cancer: honor your emotions. They are energy in motion. They are messengers. What are your emotions wanting you to be aware of? The other part of this is nurturing. How are you nurturing and caring for yourself in this energy? Do you know what that means right now? Like, what helps you feel energized or at peace or excited about life? Sometimes we need to just get curious and explore that. We don't always know. Maybe I say that and you know right away. Like I know for me, the thing I do almost every day is like a relaxing bath every night, bubble bath, Epsom salts. I am such a water baby. So that's like instant relaxation. I mean, for me, it can be anything water, like swimming in the ocean, hot tubs. I just love being in the water. It relaxes my nervous system like right away. For other people, it's the walks in nature, hugging a tree, reading a book, having a cup of tea. Like it doesn't need to be complicated things. Often it isn't. And that's the lesson in Taurus season, those simple pleasures that bring us joy, that relax our nervous system, that calm us. And in that space of calmness, we start to expand into receiving more blessings, more miracles, more abundance. So that is our Scorpio full moon. Let me know below. If you're with me here on YouTube, let me know below. What landed with you? What really resonated with you? What are you releasing in this full moon energy? If you're new here, say hi. I love to get to know everyone that comes into my community, and we've had new members coming in lately, so welcome. Share more about yourself below. What's your sun, moon, and rising? I would love to get to know you better. And I hope to see you all in the How Good Can It Get challenge. It's only $22 to join. Upgrade your subconscious. I'm taking some of my best techniques from my psychotherapy days. I have a master's in psychology. I've studied the brain, neuroplasticity, epigenetics, combine that with my work in the Akashic records And when those two things are on board, like your mind and body are on board with what your soul wants to experience, this is where more joy comes in, more abundance comes in. You hold success with greater ease without self-sabotage, and it actually just becomes an extension of who you are. So I hope to see you all there. Sending you so much love and full moon blessings. Bye for now.